It is the Zach Sang Show. We got Heather, we got Dan, and we got Logic.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, look at that fanny pack.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it.
I love the branding top to bottom.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Be yourself, bro.
It's great.
Be
And
yourself.
the biggest fan of the album. Deeply appreciate it top to
Thanks.
bottom. Seriously. It's,
Thank you.
It's such a needed body of work for our generation of people.
For sure.
Seriously, I think the impact and the message and the story in each song, so they stand alone and they're so such an intense definition attached to each song, right? But the through line is beautiful.
Thank you.
It's life and humanity, and it's everybody around us.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And I guess, for the listeners out there who might not know, I think the elevator pitch is, it's an album about this gentleman named Adam, but spelled A-T-O-M, like the atoms in our body in the universe, who's walking home from work, gets hit by a car, dies, wakes up in a white void to some random guy talking to him. Turns out that random guy is God, played by Neil deGrasse Tyson, the famous astrophysicist and scientist. And he basically God tells Adam not only is he dead, but he's about to be reincarnated. Not only has he already been reincarnated, but he is going to be, and it isn't until he has lived in the shoes of every man, woman, child, race, religion, color, creed, and sexual orientation that he can be taken from this plane of the flesh into the next existence. So the cool thing about this album not only is just a concept album, but it's true to form that every single song where I'm not rapping about myself, and the only time I rap about myself is where I discuss my race being biracial, which I'd never done on an album before. Every other song is rapped from one of the perspectives that gentleman Adam has lived in the 21st century, be it a young gay man trying to come to terms with who he is and be accepted by his family and his peers, or a single black woman with 3 children working 2 jobs and trying to get an education at the same time. So many different lives, so many different walks of life and colors and creeds, and it's just really special. It's for everybody.
Who is Adam?
Adam is, for real, Adam is everybody, right? Because that's the play. Adam is every man and woman and that's ever lived. So, but he's just a guy, He's like really cool.
Dude.
Yeah, he's just like this black dude, loving life, walking home, getting killed by a car.
Now, the album, like you said, it's a combination, right? It's your perspective, it's your life, but obviously everybody else's story. How'd you take yourself out of your shoes?
That's really cool.
But
great question. I can't tell you, man. One thing I think I'm just want to say this real quick is I've had some incredible interviews in my career, for sure, without questions. Amazing ones, Sway in the Universe, Nick Huff, so many amazing people. But something with this album has really brought out the best in a lot of people, like in you guys, you know what I mean? Because it's not just a bunch of BS. So it means so much that I get up, my schedule is so insane right now. And the fact that I get up and I give you guys all the respect and attention I have, and that you do the homework and you take the time to do it, it just means a lot. So I just wanted to say that.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I think it's because you put everything out there. You're not hiding anything. You're telling stories. You're
totally,
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But it's also something everybody can relate to, right? It's your friend, it's your brother, it's your neighbor. This album, literally, I saw myself, but then I saw everybody else in my life.
Everybody. I like that you keep using that word.
But it's the truth. It's the only really word you can use to describe it.
Thanks, man.
But what is your process? Are you just naturally an empathetic person?
I think so, 100%. Yeah, I always think about other people. I definitely think about myself first and foremost, because if I'm not healthy, if I'm not, strong, then I can't help and support anybody else.
Yeah.
So you have to put yourself first. That's just the way it is. But as soon as I'm fed and I'm good and I'm feel okay, then my goal is how can I help other people? And really with this entire album of putting myself in other people's perspectives, sure, I've always rapped for others, but deep down in a very selfish way, I was always rapping for myself because I felt like I didn't have anybody there to say, be a good person, do what you love in life, be yourself, it's okay. So I went on the record and was telling the world, be a good person, be yourself, it's okay. But really I was telling me that because I didn't have a voice in this generation, this genre, this form of entertainment on a massively commercial and successful level, telling me that. And in some weird way, I became that voice for many other people, and it's so cool because I'm just myself.
Do you also feel like that happened because you really didn't have that in your personal life?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was.
That's where it starts, right?
Yeah.
Your dad and your mom aren't there for you, cheering you on, supporting you every step of the way.
Yeah, because and the funny thing about like when you do shows like this, you repeat yourself a lot. So any fans watching, shout out. But this is for everybody who's being introduced to me for the first time. Yeah, I mean, I grew up, on a Section 8 household and welfare and food stamps, and I didn't have a lot. Both of my parents were addicted to drugs and alcohol. My father was addicted to crack, and he's doing great now. Me and my dad have a great relationship now.
What was it like when you first meet your dad after years of not seeing him?
Well, the weird thing is that I always knew my father, but but never, not really. It's like I knew him and I saw him, but he would come and then like steal a bunch of shit. And like, I was 10 years old and he stole my identity and took my social security number and did all this crazy stuff and almost ruined my credit and whatever the case may be. But, he was sick. He was a drug addict. He was going through stuff and I put him out of my life for a long time, many, many years. And, there was a point where I looked my dad in the face and I told him the next time I saw him, he was going to be in the ground. And I really felt that way. And
why didn't you stick to it?
Because even though in my heart, and this was recently, this was like within the year, even though in my heart I still felt like I didn't want to talk to him and I felt like he wasn't ready and he didn't deserve to be in my life, I felt as though I was not wise enough or mature enough to know what it would be like 10, 15, 20 years from now when he had passed and then would look back like, damn, all the time that I actually had to put those feelings aside to try to make a connection with him. So I know that might sound really weird, but it's like I don't know what I would be like at 45 and if the 45-year-old me would regret not trying to have some type of relationship. And what I realized is my dad isn't a dad. He's not even like a cool uncle. Like he was never there to raise me, so he's almost like a friend in a way that's kind of like weird and funny and this and that and a man who's been like a father to me, his name is Brant. He's like my stepfather in a way, or father-in-law through my mother's, through my whatever. Anyway, and he's really nice. And before my dad came out, he said to me, have no expectations, because I offered to fly my dad out back from Maryland and just see what it was all about this time. And he said, have no expectations. And I didn't have expectations. And usually I'm always like, all right, he's going to be, acting. And he's whatever. And I told myself, like, I'm just going to see what happens. I'm not looking for a dad. We're never going to play catch. We're not going fishing. That's not happening. But what can I get from this relationship while he's still here and I'm still here? And by not having any expectations, he still pissed me off a little bit, but we had a good time.
What'd you want out of it?
I don't know. I just knew that I didn't want to be some like pissed off kid with a grudge, because his dad ruined his childhood, and I didn't want to allow him to ruin my adulthood as well.
Which makes a lot of sense, because you can make the argument that you are who you are, where you're at in life, because of what happened with your dad.
Without question, 100%. All the things,
and it's always on your mind.
Yeah, I mean. Yes, it's always on my mind in the sense of like that those things totally made me. Yeah, you know what I mean? But
it's also present in songs. Like, is it hard to even in this album, there's so many
hard to relive. Yes.
Vivid memories.
Yeah, I mean, what the hardest thing is, like, you have a song like 1-800, right? 1-800-273-8255. Shout out. It's a suicide lifeline. And when I wrote that song, the whole reason I wrote that song is because, like I told you, I was always selfishly, writing songs for myself. Be a good person. Go out there, be yourself. Wear fanny packs and be a kick-ass rapper, and read Ready Player One and all these nerd books, and like be you. It's okay. You can still be a kick-ass rapper and do all those things. While the whole world was like, no, you can't. You suck, and like saying all the horrible, terrible words and things that they can say on the internet. And I had to stay focused through it all anyway. And so I was always writing, be you, be who you are, be who you are. And then man, in 2015, I released an album, my sophomore album called The Incredible True Story, and I dropped 6 figures on a tour bus and started in Los Angeles, California, and ended in New York over the span of 2 weeks before my album came out. And I surprised fans at their houses. I ate with them. I hung out with their families. I played them my album before it came out.
Amazing.
And so many of them, thanks, dude. And so many of them said, yo, your music saved my life, or your views on the world has changed my perspective of the world. I was very negative. I was this, I was that. And but the biggest one that hit me was, you saved my life. And I always thought, like, yo, I wasn't even trying to save your life. Like, but could you imagine the power? Could you imagine what I could do if I actually did? And that's why you have songs like 1-800.
And you also challenged the mind. That's what you wanted with this album, right? You wanted to change and break stereotypes, yes?
Yeah, sure.
I think you did it.
I'm trying. I think it's still a battle. Because like I go on the internet now and I still see the more the like I've noticed that the bigger I get, the more I disconnect from social media. And it's weird, but it's also a great thing. I am here because of social media, and I'm here because of the fans that exist on the internet. However, I'm just a blessed artist that my fans on the internet actually like turn into asses in the seats in real life, which is so cool. And because of that, I feel like I'm ignoring you guys when I'm talking like here. Okay. But just know, I got love for everybody.
We love you.
And wait, what was I saying? I got distracted.
You're talking about you have all these social media followers. You disconnected.
Yeah.
Recently.
And so it's because like every time I go, there's like just like a bunch of hate, but there's so much love. The love outweighs the hate a millionfold. But because I am an emotional person, the hate is hard to see, and not even to myself. But if I see a fan, like here's a great example. I saw this kid and his girlfriend got him like he was sitting and she was like, hey, I got you this and blah 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 and like this thing like for a graduation present, and she's filming him and they're sitting in the car and she goes, and also I got you and your best friend tickets to go see, and he starts crying immediately because he already knows to go see Logic when he comes through, and he starts crying, and I saw this and it made me get emotional. Like I wanted to cry, and I retweet it and people are like, that's amazing, that's cool, blah blah blah, and then one dude's like, yo, that's gay.
Of course.
And I'm like, oh man, it's like to see these things in these words, it's like so hurtful. It's like, oh my God, like, and that's what's hard. Anyway, I just say all this to say like, I've noticed that I'm almost like jacking out of the matrix even more than ever, and it's making me happier because my biggest goal that I've always wanted to do is to affect people through my music,
and nothing else.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
Yeah.
But you also play the game of losing touch, right? Because social media gives you access to people and minds and emotions.
Yeah, but
and experience.
I agree, but I think I don't give a damn what I lose touch from as long as I'm in touch with myself, who I am as a person, and my fans. So like I've noticed that kind of stepping back from social media a bit is like, I don't know about the newest like Nene dance or like the newest like funny viral video, like, and that's kind of sucks to be out of touch a little bit, but it's cool because I don't have to see these horrible words and these things, that make me like sad, and because I'm in much more of a happy mood all the time, I get to go and have a blast and write. Like me, just so you know, like I've been made to feel like first of all, I was made to feel like I would never be a good rapper and I would never accomplish things and I would never have a #1 album or never do these things. And then once I did them, I was then made to feel like, well, that's all you're going to be able to ever do is just be a rapper because that's all you're good at. And it's like, I don't want to do that. Like I'm sitting here telling you guys that like my next album, I'm going to come back here. I can't wait. Hopefully you'll have me back.
Of course.
And like I'm going to be playing piano. I'm going to be singing ballads. Nice. I'm going to be singing and rapping and like I don't want to just do this one thing, and I want to do it right because there's so many more sides to me. And society tells us that we're nothing, and then once we get one kind of good thing, society tells us that's all we're ever going to be. And I'm here to say like, yo, with determination, persistence, realism, and wanting success more than your next breath, you truly can do whatever you want. And I want to sing and dance and play the piano and entertain and act, and I want to do it all. But you got to master each craft before moving on to the next, obviously. So you can't be like a douche and just think you're going to do everything.
you hint on everybody that your 4th album will be your last.
Yeah.
Will it be?
I think there's a lot. I'm always going to make music. So with that, you could be like, well, how's that the last? And how's that to this? Like, I'm always going to make music. And I know this is weird. I'm not trying to dodge your question.
No.
It's one of those things where in many ways, yes, it's going to be my last Logic album. Like, it's going to be like the last rap album that I'll ever do. And it's going to be a true to form introduction into what the rest of my hopefully long, awesome, fun career is going to be. So in many ways, yes, it is Logic's like last album. It's not like I'm gonna like change my name and I'm P Diddy and I'm coming out like, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not what I mean. But it will make sense when it happens. It's gonna make sense when it happens.
But there's also precedent for this. You used to be psychological, right?
Oh, snap!
And that changed to Logic.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, thanks for doing your homework. Oh God.
I have a couple bits in here that like you set the tone for this album back, I think, in 2012. But psychological was a chapter in your life. That was a version of you, right? What's the difference between psychological and Logic?
Well, psychological is just like a little dumbass kid who's like hella underground, like You know, I love okay, you know, I love Wu-Tang Clan. I love Mos Def and Tribe Called Quest and The Roots. I love so much. I love hip hop. That's where I was created in that world. And so, you know, I listened to a lot of like underground artists at the time. And so my mentor, he was like, hey, go in the dictionary. I was 18 years old. Find a word that best describes you, and that's going to be your MC name. And so I came across psychological was like the worst name you could ever pick.
But not, I don't think.
I mean, it was like...
It so sums up who you are.
Okay, let's fast forward 8 months later. I'm opening up for Ghostface Killah, and I got the whole crowd. I'm like, it's psychological. Say it. Psychological. And it's like awkward.
Too many syllables.
Yeah, and then I meet my best friend Lenny, and Big Lembo, who's an amazing artist. He's incredible, and he's a rapper. He's like all over my music. And we become pals, and he's like, hey, and he's kind of like, calling me psychological and psycho, and it's like really freaking awkward. And then before I knew it, he was just calling me Logic for short, and that's what stuck. And that was like, it was just super simple, and it was, yeah, that was it there.
But you put out into the universe with that name what you the type of music you were planning on making.
100%, yeah.
100. But you said in 2012 too, we all have so many different ethnicities in our blood, no matter how pure we think we are. That is everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, that's real.
That is this album.
Yeah, in some way. Damn, that's crazy. I feel like Nardwuar. You know who Nardwuar is?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great.
I'm not as detailed as him.
I love Nardwuar.
Amazing.
He's the best. Yeah. No, that's really cool that you say that, man. Because that's all it is. That's all it's about. Like, it's just true to form, like peace, love, and positivity, and being who you are. Because me, there's a lot of, like, no matter what you say, you're gonna get haters. People are gonna hate. There's gonna be people who, you know, dislike this video or this whatever, and that's fine. Like, we're not in charge of that. But one thing that I try to do is just shape others' minds in a positive way to think however they think. Like, we might not all agree on politics or religion or this or that or whatever, and that's fine. My whole goal is like, hey, if you're Christian and you don't agree with the Muslim religion or that, like, that's fine, but like, don't stone each other to death. Like, do you know what I mean? Feel free to express that, but without being like, yo, fuck you this and blah, blah. Like, that's the thing that's hard for me. I'm not trying to change anybody's way of life, beliefs, any of that stuff. But I mean, it's even the same thing with like gay people. Like, for the longest time, you know, my mother was like, homosexuals will not enter the kingdom of heaven, and that's just the way it is. And in my mind, I was like, I mean, okay, it says that, but like, I just don't understand. Like, this is a human being, a good, kind person. Like, I never got that. And I saw this like documentary on you know, just being gay and what it was like and all this as a child. And
that's a great thing to watch.
I'm glad. Yeah, I saw it, and there was this kid, and it's like one of the perspectives I actually like kind of rap from on a song I have called Black SpiderMan. And the kid, he was old. He was like in his like mid-20s, but he was going back to basically saying he was like, oh, you know, he was a football star, and his dad was like in the military, and it was like kind of all American, like whatever. And he knew he was gay, and he would like date girls and all this stuff because he wanted to keep up with that persona. But he knew he was gay, and he didn't want to be gay. That's the craziest part. He just wanted to fit in because it would have been easier.
Society told you not to.
Exactly, which is like BS, because you can't fit in and stand out at the same time. So he's like didn't know what to do, and at the end of the day, like he had to be honest with himself and tell his father and his family, and his father beat him an inch from life, and his whole family disowned him. And you know, obviously he went and found who he was and found, you know, happiness later on. But the point is, like, when I saw that and he told me that story, I said, nobody in their right mind, like, and hey, people can disagree. This is merely an opinion of mine, but to say that, like, you know, oh, it's a choice, and they just think that way, and that's what they want. I would go, oh, is it really a choice to get the beaten out of you by your family that you know, is it really a choice to
be persecuted? Yeah, to be made to feel like you're less than?
Exactly. And that, to me, personally opened my mind to say, man, people are just people, everybody is everybody, and whether we agree or not. And that's why, like even right now, like, there will be haters who will still try to disagree, and literally it's like, yo, it's fine if you don't agree with somebody's way of life. I'm just saying, must we kill each other?
Yeah. Like, be cool. That's it.
Be cool, baby.
Be cool.
You know what I'm saying? What? She got the glasses. We got that glasses connection.
You brought up Black SpiderMan, and obviously, I'm going to tell you what I don't do often, but I want to tell you how my read on the song. Which I love it, obviously.
Thanks.
Is the meaning that Black SpiderMan will save you no matter who you are, and what you do?
I guess one good thing about art is like you kind of
Interpretation.
Yeah, interpretation, and that's a great way. I hadn't necessarily thought about that, but in a way, yes. So I kind of had this, and it's like it's not even a joke. It's just kind of like hey, like Spider-Man should be black. Why can't Spider-Man be black? Like I would just say this, and then all these people are like, hey, you idiot, Miles Morales is black. Like, and it's like because that's one of the Spider-Man. His name's Miles Morales, and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, well, I'm talking about Peter Parker, fam. Yeah. Why can't Peter Parker be black? Why is it that it's so weird for us to like see a person of color, in a known role or this and be like, oh, that's weird, or that's, I don't know. And I get it. Hey, certain things like, and I've said this, when Stan Lee created Peter Parker, he's just like a nerdy white kid from New York. Like, cool. That's how I'm used to seeing him too. I'm just saying.
But why not?
Why is it weird? Why not?
It could be a nerdy black dude. Like, why? You're right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's, whatever. But I mean, hey, like that's literally how he was created, whatever. But Thor was a man forever, right? Now Thor's a kick-ass woman. So it's just all about, it's literally, the whole thing is just about stereotypes. Like it's just about saying like, let's break the stereotype, let's break the norm, and let people live and let people be whatever superhero they want to be.
Did you write the pieces for Neil deGrasse Tyson? Were you writing the voice of God?
Yeah, so I wrote the whole script, and the cool thing is it was actually a play off of a short story called The Egg, which was written by a gentleman named Andy Weir. Andy Weir wrote a novel called The Martian, which was turned into a movie starring Matt Damon. Mm-hmm. Matt Damon.
That comedy.
And
they didn't call it a comedy.
Yeah, one best comedy.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Yeah. But I mean, it was kind of funny. Whatever. It was weird. It was dope. It was cool.
That was a good movie.
And but I was so like, I loved this short story so much. I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool to turn this into an album? Almost like Spielberg reads. I'm not here to like promote this, but Ready Player One, which I love this book. It's my favorite book. And Spielberg's making the movie. It's like, he took what Ernest Cline already created, and he's gonna do what he did with Jurassic Park and so many other amazing things. Hopefully, don't mess it up. Come on, Steven.
Jinx.
I'm just kidding. And with that being said, like I feel like I was just so inspired, and I reached out to Andy, who is an incredible writer, just amazing dude. And I was like, hey, like, can I do this thing? And he was like, yeah, no problem. And so like I painted him on my album cover with 80 other people that all kind of represent everybody, and it was really cool. So yes, I did write it. I wrote it a little more urban-y, like not urban, that's not what but I made it a little more funny. Like I wanted to cast a black guy that was like, God damn, what's going on? And like, just
the
like
whole thing was hilarious, but there's so much depth to it. Like if you really hear the words, like what came first? Did the voice of God in those moments, or was it the songs? Like what'd you write to?
Oh man, I wrote the songs first, but I knew I wrote the script too. So like I wrote the songs, and then I wrote the script, and then I had Neil play God and record his verse parts, and then I had my buddy Big Von, who's a radio DJ at KMEL.
He's so good in it.
Yeah,
oh my God, his voiceover is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's so funny. He's so great, and that's me. Like I just wanted two strong black men to play these characters. I just like heard it in my voice. In my head, I thought it would be so fun, and they killed it, and they did such a great job. And for me, I don't know. It just kind of was a culmination of everything together. But I'm always like working. So like I'd been working on this album for like almost 3 years ago. Like I'd always, every time I'm like, not to get, because everybody's gonna be like, oh, where's the next one? But like I'm always working.
Constant.
Always.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
You know what? Check this out. So my mom, and I mean this respectfully, everybody, like, let me just say how I grew up. My mom was like a super Jesus freak. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she was the type to be like I said before, about homosexuals or this or that or whatever. And then, but at the same time, like, so when I would write raps when I was a kid, because I curse a lot in my raps. And that's just how I express myself. And some people could be like, well, that's not a good thing, because you have children listening to you and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I'm cursing, but I'm also talking about peace and love and being happy and doing what you love in life. It also says parental advisory on the sticker. Cover. And it's like, I just always hate that, especially in hip hop. Everybody's like trying to be like, this subject matter, what you're talking about, but then everybody's going to watch Who's a Genius, but like Scorsese movies, right, like it's okay, they're murdering each other, but since it's, made by this like Italian guy, like
or
it's
watching
all
The Walking Dead on TV.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, okay, whatever. But my point being is, I feel like when I was younger, I would write and I would like kind of put a curse word here or there, because that's how I felt. Like, damn, like it's hard today, or whatever. Like, damn, eating this powdered milk sucks. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a real thing. Yeah. And then my mom was the type of person to be like, don't you curse, you.
Yep.
I'm excited for that really long beat that's gonna probably be like, you. Anyway, but that's how she kind of was.
Yeah.
And that also that made me kind of be like, oh my God. And then it's like, but if I can't express that, it's just going to build up. And if it builds up, well, then what? Then am I going to be in school or somewhere and then just shout these obscenities? Do you know what I mean? It's
totally
like, it's better to vent it
Yeah.
in a poetic way. So it's like, I notice, like, man, I really do curse a lot, but yeah, I don't know. It's really crazy.
One is art, one is anger.
Yeah.
You know?
How did you become such a positive, accepting person with the way you were raised?
Wow, great question, dude. That's a really good question. I think all the things I said, like I've run around with guns and knives and done dumb stuff and things. I've never taken anybody's life, and I'm really happy that I can look in the mirror and be happy with the man that I see. And there's no true to form regret there. But you know, looking at me, you know, people could be like, well, of course you ain't never, you know, done this or that or whatever. But it's like, there's bad places all over the world. And my household was a pretty hard one. But my family is beautiful. There's so many beautiful people in my family at the same time. Like, don't get it twisted. But it was very hard. And I think, you know, witnessing and experiencing like the sexual assault of like my mother and my sisters and them being battered and seeing blood all over our house and alcoholism and drugs and, you know, murderers and drug dealers in and out and all this stuff. Every time, you know, my mother was beaten, in my head, I was just like, that's how you don't treat somebody. Every time I saw somebody take a hardcore drug that just laid them out on the floor, I was like, that's how you don't do that. You don't ruin your life by doing this. So I think it's just like a bit of common sense and God or Neil deGrasse Tyson or whoever that was just, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Because if you hear your message, then you listen to Take It Back, which the lyrics are crazy in that one.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear your full story. Like, what does your family think when you put all that out there for the world to hear?
Man, I'm so happy you guys are doing I'm just so stoked. Y'all are doing your homework, man. I've waited my whole career for this, man. Like, it means a lot that you guys care enough. Tough. If you don't like what I'm saying, then it is what it is, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? And me and my father, for a long time, he struggled. You know, he was like, why are you always talking about this or putting it out there? Because I'm sober now. I'm sober now and I've been sober. Why are you always talking about this? And I'm like, why'd you do it? Why'd you leave me in a car for 5 hours in Southeast DC while you went to go smoke crack with some chick? Why did you steal from me? Why did you this? Why did you do that?
Yep.
I'm not persecuting you for what you did. I'm merely venting about it so that first and foremost, I can wash it clean and hope that the experience and the things that I have gone through can help the listener, because I didn't have anybody saying those things to me. I wish I had somebody. So that's why I talk about it.
But how'd you come up with those things, right? Was it a collection of what society was telling you? Was it friends who had supportive parents?
Wait, what do you mean? You mean on being positive about it?
If nobody's teaching you these things, right? Were movies your outlet? Like, I feel like you turned to movies heavily.
Oh yeah, movies and anime and I mean all that. I love entertainment, and I think a great example of like loving entertainment and almost escaping in it is so there's a game called Uncharted. It's a series and it's created by Naughty Dog. And I've like befriended so many people who work over there and write the games and do all this. And I actually wrote them an entire letter because before we all became cordial and friendly over in that building, I was just the biggest fan of them. And back in 2009, when I was working in a grocery store and working at random places that I hated, I would play that video game to escape life. And now I noticed that when they ended the saga with Uncharted 4 last year, or I think it was 2 years ago, I realized I didn't play anymore to escape. I played to enhance my life because now my life was so kick-ass because of staying positive and because of having that mentality. And I'm telling you, man, like I said, nobody was there to tell me those things. So I think I just wanted to be... I want to be that guy of this generation. I know it sounds weird. And like, I'm going to tell you something. I thought... like a lot of rappers that like, man, my time was limited. It's a real thing. Like, okay, every year there's a new rapper. There's somebody who's doing it bigger, somebody who's doing it better, or whatever the case may be. And it's like, oh my God. And you have some kings out there that really reign. But I was like, man, I got to get this money. I got to get this money because I'm going to have kids one day and I got to like figure out what I'm going to do. And every year it got bigger. And every year the message grew. And every year it became like an empire and almost like a way of life. Peace, love, and positivity. Wrap your ass off. Wear fanny packs. Be you. Be who you are. And I've noticed the more I've done that, the more freedom I've gotten and more happy I've become. And like, you guys have no idea. Now I really feel like, and I don't mean this to be weird, this is only the beginning. I thought it was like kind of the end, like, damn, I've already got these albums. Because I got like 8 projects out in the world. I've toured thousands, all over, whatever. But like, once I released this album, and I was scared to talk about so many things. I didn't want to talk about my race and people tell me F you and you're not that and you're this and tell me what I am. I didn't want to talk about, this, like anything I do. I support gays, I'm wrong. I support this, I'm wrong. I do that, I do this. I'm pro-black, I'm wrong. I'm happy to be mixed, I'm wrong. I'm this, I'm that. Yeah. And bro, like after I put this album out, I realized it freed me so much that I can't wait for the future. I can't wait to sing ballads. I can't wait to rap over ballads. And it all comes from just being yourself. As long as I'm telling you, cannot stand out and fit in at the same time. And I would rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not.
But it's because your creative motivation changes. It's not about going out and grabbing the money. Your music has impact, right? 91 million streams right now on 1-800. Lives.
Really?
Yes.
Are you serious?
91 million.
Damn, I didn't know that.
That was as of this morning, so it's probably more now.
That's pretty gangster that you just flexed on me. Right there.
Lives have changed, right?
Mine has.
You have an important role within our generation.
That's what I want, though. Like, dude, I just want to be that guy. Like, that'd be so cool. The guy that's himself, Because I now, when people would be like, man, you corny, or you this, or you that, or you blah, 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 I'd kind of be like, ow, like that hurts. But the more and more I'm myself, the more and more I'm like, well, at least I'm myself. Yeah, you can think I suck, you can think this, that, but at least I'm me, though. That's the thing that's most important to me.
You talked about rappers coming and going. I think you're in a certain category that tells stories still. There's like Cole, Kendrick, you, like a lot of guys are making music, they don't say anything. It just sounds good at the club.
For sure. And you know what? There's a time and place for that, but there's always a time and place for that, and that will over time not necessarily dwindle, but each artist, there's going to be the next rapper with the hottest song. And that's why I really do pride myself in knowing that, like, yo, man, we all like turning up. We all like having fun and listening to some like whatever lyrics and just like, it's just a fun time. That's what life is about. But I have pledged a long time ago that I was going to be the dude that after you're at the club or after you're at the party or after you're with your homies and you're having a good time and doing some stuff, whatever, you're gonna come home or wake up after your hangover and listen to me.
It's personal music.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to address race on this album finally?
It's everybody.
Yeah. I think
you still see people are like, he's white. You still see that all the time.
No, that's
now.
what it was. Now, actually, here's what it was.
But you're not white.
No, I'm black and white. I'm biracial. Yeah. And I'm proud. I'm proud of who I am. And here's what it was. Literally, it's this simple. Now everybody will be like, all he talks about is race. But like literally you just brought it up. Like, and here and not in a negative way. I'm saying like you brought it up and everybody's like, oh, he's always, we get it. You're pushing the whole biracial thing. And I'm like, what is that? That's like so racist. Like, first of all,
mean anything.
Yeah, we're like, what? But anyway, but they're like, all he's talking about is being biracial, always talking about. And first of all, I'm proud. So if you don't like it, change the channel. I know Kendrick Lamar, I know J. Cole, I know so many amazing artists that I can name right now that love to talk about how black and beautiful they are. Yeah. So what's the issue? I'm proud. And so for me, what it really comes down to, the reason I addressed my race on this song for the first time in my professional career on an album is because everywhere I went, it was, oh, what's it like being a white rapper? Hey, being a white rapper. Oh, so white, all this stuff.
They don't know.
And every time I would just simply go, oh, no, I'm biracial, I'm black and white, blah, blah, blah. And I'd leave it at that. And I'd say, yeah, I'm proud to be me, and blah, blah, blah. And I'd let it go. And then another interviewer would ask, and another, and another, and another, and another. And they would ask and ask and ask and ask. And it was just white. And I wasn't being perceived for who I am. So, for example, if I tell you I'm biracial, sure, that means I'm white and I'm black. And with that being said, I was sick and tired of people labeling me and saying this is what you are or this is what you aren't or you're not black enough or you're too white or, black people don't talk like that, which is, to me, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard to almost say, like what? What are you talking about? Black people don't talk like what? Like, black people what? Black people aren't educated. They're not beautiful. They're not into comic books. They're not nerds too. They're not, like, what are you talking about?
Stereotypes, the whole thing.
Exactly. And so I said, I'm going to put it all on the line on this album so that no matter what, people know who I am. And now the thing that I love is, it's kind of a mean thing. So it used to be like, oh, white boy, like just hate. Now they're just hating on me for being biracial, but at least they're hating on me for who I am.
There you go.
That's the best part.
At least it's the truth.
Did you ever feel like you were treated differently in a positive or negative way because people did think you were white?
More so negative because of the field I've chose to.
Yeah, everybody associates, rap and those stories with somebody who is black.
Yeah, somebody's black or, like who's, it's more like an image thing or whatever the case may be. Which is fine, like that's cool, but it's not like that anymore. You know what I mean? It doesn't. Now, like rap isn't just a thing where you got to be like from the hood. You know what I mean? Like there's incredible artists out there who are so amazing of every color, but especially black. And it's like they're not necessarily from the hood, you know, but they could be, I guess, more respected than me at first glance because of how they look or whatever. And I don't care about any of that stuff. So for me, it's like, man, I'm just happy that people know who I am now for the most part. And when I say that, I mean who I am, like as a man, not the name Logic or this or that. Because like me, I'm gonna be honest. Like for me, rap is beautiful. It's an amazing thing, but I want to make music as a whole, rap included. Like that's what I want. Like I want, and I mean I've kind of mentioned it a few times in this interview, but like that's what I want. I don't want to just do this one thing, this one lane, because that's all I've been ever told I wouldn't do. And then once I did it, I could do, as I said before. So yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
After making this album, are you afraid of death?
Oh man, dude, I think about death every day. Every day. I probably thought about it like 6 times on the way over here.
Well,
yeah,
really?
I think about all types. You know, I think about diseases and getting hit by a car and going out. I think about getting a brain aneurysm. You know, sometimes I'll be eating with my friends and think, damn, what if I just got laid out right now? I think about that. You know about the shit I think about? I think about that. I think about label things. I think about all the artists I'm working with. I think about my acting career. I think about scripts I'm writing. I mean, hell, I'm working on, you know, various different projects, musical, this, that, being a good husband, being a good father one day, the children I'm going to have. All the people that I work with, they're not just going to do that one thing. You know, my security guard isn't just going to be my security guard forever. My assistant, who is now I'm promoting to be my day-to-day manager because he's so damn good at that. Now I have to hire another assistant, but that assistant isn't just going to be my assistant. I want him to do whatever that he wants to do in life, and I want to then put him in that role and then hire another assistant, because for me it's not about just. So anyway, there's a million things that I think about.
Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah.
You definitely seem like an alien guy.
Yeah, I'm an alien guy. Why, do I sound crazy? Yeah, there's aliens, and I think about this and that, and everything is good. Yeah. I definitely think about aliens. But but going back to that is so what was it, 2015 or was it 2016? I think it was 2016. Was it last year? Yeah, last year was the worst year of my life. It was the most money I'd ever made. I made millions of dollars. I was extremely successful, happy with that aspect, but I was so unhappy, and it was because I was dealing with anxiety, which is another thing that's too taboo to discuss or talk about.
But you did.
I did on the album as well.
And it's a great song.
Thank you very much. It means a lot. I put my heart and soul into it, literally.
How do you manage anxiety now?
Balance. So I had to tattoo it because I'm an idiot and I work too hard and I do too much. Balance yourself. That's what this says.
Cool.
And for me, last year, all I was doing was working all the time. I wasn't taking any time to myself. And that's what you have to do. You have to balance yourself. And because of that, I was in such a messed up mental place that, you know, even then I was thinking about death 1 trillion times a day because I'm a hypochondriac and I think about every little thing, every little detail. And it's my gift and it's my curse, because I think there's like, I'm not calling myself a genius here, but I'm just saying, like, there's like genius tax. Like, I feel like every incredibly amazing artist that there's something wrong. There's something with them.
But you overanalyze everything, so you can really dissect things before you actually like put them out there into the world.
100%.
You're so in touch with yourself.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean,
I like to touch myself. Yeah, sure.
Don't we all?
Yeah, I get it. Kill Bill, that introduced you to rap.
Yeah, man. It's great.
You mentioned that you're writing scripts.
Yeah, where's Nardwar?
We have movies coming up. Do you want to score them? Do you want to write them?
I want to act.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big thing. The biggest thing is I want to act, and I'm working on some really cool stuff right now that I'm not gonna like blow the whistle on, but that's what I want to do. I want to do. I always despise the person on Twitter that was like, you go to their bio and it's like, yeah, I'm an actor, singer, dancer,
Triple threat.
like whatever, and it's like, okay, well, all right. But like for me, I really do want to be able to do those things one day. But at the end of like, I'm a writer and an entertainer, and that's what so.
But I also think the big difference there is between acting and writing is you, and acting is you being somebody else.
Which is fun. I mean, unless you're playing yourself like Larry David.
And then just, you know.
No, totally. I think, there's a bunch of things that I want to do, and I have to take the time and balance myself. But the greatest thing that I'm realizing is, man, like I'm 27 and I'm so young. You know, 27 is young, 37 is young, 47 is young. I'm serious.
time.
But when you're young, when you're like 20, you're like, what? That's like so old. So
Every
I got
day's the
time.
end.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I got time. So it's like, it's weird. I don't live like I got time, But at the same time, I kind of have. It's weird because I was in a place where I got to do it all right now. I got to do it all, and then that's what like damn near drove me insane. So what I'm realizing now is I'm in charge. I am in charge. I'm in charge of my schedule. I'm in charge of my life. You know, if for whatever reason and I mean this very respectfully, I felt emotionally and physically like I needed to take a break and could not come here today,
you would do it.
I would have to do it. I would feel like crap because I never cancel. You know, because I'm the dude that like shows up. Like I'm not on rap time. Like I'll be here like an hour.
Yo,
early.
you were here
Yeah.
30 minutes early.
Yeah, straight up. Like I don't know, man.
It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. But at the end of the day, like I just want to be happy. I just want to be remembered as like, because somebody asked me, DJ Semtex, who's an amazing interviewer and just a great person from over in the UK. He asked me in an interview that we just did, he said, how do you want to be remembered? And I said, I want to be remembered as a good man, a loving husband and father, and a person who was a giver. And he was like, I don't think any other rapper I've ever asked like answer it that way. And that's no slight at other rappers. I think it's the mentality of like maturity. Like I'm not into ego, and there's ego everywhere, whether it's rap or pop music or this or that. Like, dude, I'm just a guy, man. I'm just a freaking nerd who likes to read books, and I'm just me. And I treat you guys like I would treat the most famous person or the person who takes out my trash. Like we're all people, man. We're freaking people. So
we're everybody.
What turns you off from like the flashy rapper lifestyle, like the chains, the clubs, all that?
Insecurity.
Okay.
You know, so like when not to say that rappers who do that are insecure. That's not what I'm saying. I said when I first went to the mall and bought fake $100 chains and wore all this stuff and tried to do it is because I was insecure about myself, because that's not who I am. I mean, hell, you never know. I might go buy a really nice gold chain one day because I think it's cool.
You do it for you. You don't do it for others.
Exactly. You know, so I'd rather spend money on a fanny pack or this or that. But
it's a dope ass fanny pack.
It's
I love
custom.
it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna have these on my tour.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah,
I
it's
will
nice.
be buying those.
No, I got you. I'll send you guys some. No, seriously.
But
Don't let me forget, Christian. Will you make a note? Yeah, we should send a bunch of merch. Get everybody's size.
Your insecurity comes from in that world comes from the fear of measuring up, right?
Yeah, you want to be I wanted to be accepted in rap, and I wanted to be accepted. So it's like you kind of you emulate what other people are doing, but that's anywhere. It's not just rap. Like I'm not here. It's not like I'm downing rap. I love rap. I love hip hop. I love the culture. It is a beautiful, loving, all-inclusive, incredible culture. What I'm talking about is the pop culture of that culture. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Which is like you got to do this, and you got to got to get all these girls and go here and do all this other stuff. And I think to some people, like, man, that's a cool lifestyle that they're not trying to impress nobody else. They really feel that way. They feel like they're the best or whatever, and that's cool, man. But it's just a personal thing. I'm just not. I just want to just like go to Comic-Con and hang out at the comic book store and chill with my wife and hang out with my
beautiful.
puppies.
I love.
Thanks.
I watch
Jessica?
I watch compilations of your relationship.
Really?
On
Yeah,
the
she's the
internet.
best. She's an incredible singer, by the way. She is an amazing, phenomenal pop singer. She just released her first song called Medicine. It's got like 400,000 plays on Spotify. First song she ever released.
Hell yeah.
She's got a cool project that's going to be coming on the way, and she's really amazing. I just want to say that too, because that's another thing. Like, I wouldn't be here without her. She's the great. She introduced me to you.
Wait, did she?
Yeah, bro. Like she was like, yeah, like I was like, this was. So that's why when I got the like, hey, do you want to do the show? I was like, yes. So it's all because of my wife.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
because
Hell
she
yeah.
introduced, and I was like, wow, it's so dope. And like one of my favorite ones was the one you did with Sean, Big Sean.
Okay,
it was just such a
thank
great.
you.
Yeah, it was just very honest. There was no.
Oh.
It was just cool. Everybody was cool. That's what I like.
We're cool and we care.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like I respect what you put into it because I know it's so much of you. You know,
Thanks, man.
It's beyond an extension of you. It's like blood, sweat, tears, everything.
I appreciate it. You know, in this genre, especially which one I want to get into, I can't wait. I want to be huge in the pop world. I really do.
Welcome.
Because to me, pop is pop culture. Pop is that, and that's all it
Popular,
is.
yeah.
And and it's down to people like us, right?
Yeah.
The new age of what pop music needs to be to understand that pop music is not a sound.
Yeah, it's not.
It's everything.
It really is.
And we don't really dictate it.
No, totally. Yeah, no, it's a real thing. And like I appreciate you guys, because everybody's like, you have your fun stuff that you talk about. You could have any type of guest here, and for certain different guests, you guys ask certain questions, things that might be like funny or like a little like whatever, like just what like that's normal. But I appreciate that you and everybody else in this world recognizes and respects who I am as a man, and that when I sit on this couch, or actually this is the most comfortable place I've ever sat, but that when I sit down, there's no bullshit. You know what I mean? Like I used to go sit down at radio stations and they would ask me the dumbest questions.
If you were
and,
a sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you be?
And I don't, and that's why I don't sit down with them anymore.
Thank
so
you.
I appreciate you guys being awesome.
Well, thank you. And that means a ton. Seriously, goosebumps,
Thanks.
man.
And thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica. I love you.
My last question. You look back now at the album, you look back at the success at 1-800 and all the other singles that are going to emerge from this body of work.
Thanks.
Was changing the name of it the right move?
Totally, 100%.
Yeah?
So originally the album was going to be called Africarian.
Which there's still a song?
Yeah, there's still a song called Africarian. And when you listen to the song Africarian, you really realize what it embodies. And when I first started the journey on this album, it was much more about myself. It was about me. And obviously, you know, you have like the Aryan Brotherhood, which is like elite racism, alt-white, like, you know what I mean? Like whatever. And then you have like the word Africa, African, which is, you know, beautiful ancestry. And I've been made to feel that in this world, okay, here it comes back. Remember, you asked me this question about race, that in America, I've been led to feel like, you know, by people who don't know me and just look at me like I'm some racist Aryan person, or by racist white folk that I like jumped out of Africa and I should go back and blah, blah. Like I've experienced these things. I've heard these things. People have said these things to me. And I felt that I was either one or the other, and I was ripped and I was being told what I am. I'm either a racist white person or I'm a no good black person or I'm this. And that's how I've been led to feel and led to believe. Because anytime there's ever been like some racist folk or anything like that saying something, like I'll stand up and be like, what are you talking about? Like I'm black. And then they're like, well, you know, F you too. And blah, blah, blah. So to be persecuted from both sides was something that I really struggled with for a long time. And I realized that I wasn't struggling. It's everyone else who was struggling. They were struggling because they couldn't accept my identity. And when I realized that, the album changed because it was everybody else who was struggling. So that song, Africarian and Take It Back and, you know, parts of Black SpiderMan are about my struggle personally and the things that I've gone through, but this whole album is about so much more. So I changed it from that to everybody, and I'm glad I did. And I didn't do it for others, I did it for me.
And with that, we thank Logic,
Thank
and we
you,
appreciate you for coming in.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Beyond.
Cool.
Thank you for doing this.
Wicked. Thanks, guys.